Dame Helen Mirren ignited controversy during her appearance on the Graham Norton Show by delivering a sharp critique of Meghan Markle's public image, calling her persona overly curated and staged. The unexpected remarks quickly overshadowed the episode's lighthearted tone, drawing murmurs of shock and mixed reactions from the audience. What began as a celebratory evening turned into a moment of public reckoning for Markle's approach to lifestyle branding and public life. Mirren's critique, which she delivered with characteristic precision, focused on what she described as a lack of authenticity in Meghan's carefully constructed public persona. The actress claimed that Markle's ventures, like her podcast archetypes and an upcoming cooking show now embroiled in copyright infringement allegations, appear to be more about calculated optics than genuine passion. Her comments resonated with some who have echoed similar sentiments about Markle's foray into media but sparked outrage among Meghan's supporters, who labeled the critique as uncalled for and unduly harsh. Love keeping up with the British royal family? Hit subscribe and never miss a moment of royal news. A divided audience. The audience in the studio reacted immediately, with gasps and murmurs rippling through the crowd. Online, the reaction was even more dramatic. Within hours, the hashtag Meghan Humiliation was trending on social media platforms as users debated whether Mirren's remarks crossed a line or simply voiced truths others were too afraid to express. Some users applauded Mirren's candor, describing her as a voice of reason, while others condemned her for taking a personal jab at a woman already under intense public scrutiny. The polarized response reflects broader public sentiment surrounding Meghan Markle. While many admire her as a trailblazer navigating life outside the confines of the British royal family, others criticize her for perceived opportunism and an image that appears too carefully managed. Mirren's pointed remarks seemed to crystallize these existing divisions, sparking renewed debate about Markle's media presence and credibility. The broader context. This incident comes at a challenging time for Meghan Markle. Her podcast Archetypes, a project aimed at exploring societal labels placed on women, has faced mixed reviews, with some accusing it of being overly polished and lacking depth. Meanwhile, a cooking show associated with her has drawn scrutiny over allegations of copyright infringement, further complicating her efforts to solidify her brand as a relatable and empowering figure. Mirren's comments have added weight to criticisms that Meghan has struggled to connect authentically with the public. These critiques highlight the ongoing tension between her aspirations for a high-profile platform and the perceptions of audiences who demand transparency and sincerity from public figures. Meghan Markle's silence. In the wake of the incident, Meghan has remained silent, a decision that has only fueled speculation. Reports from her inner circle suggest that her team is reassessing her current projects, seeking to align her public image more closely with her personal values. This recalibration may be necessary as public perception continues to fluctuate between admiration and skepticism. The decision to remain silent in the face of Mirren's critique could reflect a strategic effort to avoid adding fuel to an already intense media firestorm. Ethical dilemmas in public critique. Beyond the personal implications for Meghan, Mirren's comments have reignited discussions about the ethics of using public platforms to critique fellow public figures. While some argue that public personas are fair game for scrutiny, others point out the potential harm such criticisms can cause. The hashtag Meghan Humiliation and the subsequent media frenzy have drawn attention to the consequences of public shaming and the thin line between constructive critique and personal attack. Implications for Meghan Markle's future. For Meghan Markle, this incident may serve as a pivotal moment. Mirren's critique, and the divided response to it, underscores the urgent need for Markle to redefine her public narrative. If her team can successfully pivot toward more authentic and relatable ventures, this controversy could mark the beginning of a new chapter in her public life. However, failure to address these critiques effectively risks cementing the perception of her as a polarizing figure disconnected from the public she aims to inspire. Ultimately, Dame Helen Mirren's comments have pushed Meghan Markle back into the spotlight, reigniting debates over authenticity, privilege, and public persona. Whether this episode will become a turning point in Meghan's efforts to reshape her narrative or simply another chapter in her polarizing public life remains to be seen. The world, it seems, is once again watching closely.